Why are gay men so rude? Because they're all fucking assholes. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. If you'd like, please do me a favor and follow me on Instagram. It's lets_do-it-up, LETS_DOITUP. And if you'd like to send a knife or knives into the channel for review, just send me an email. It's letsdiu79 at gmail.com. LETSDIU79 at gmail.com. If you want to send a knife or knives into the channel for review, excuse me, just go ahead and send me an email. I will send you my shipping address. You can send me the knife or knives, and I will spend a week or two with them, review them, and send them back to you. And today, I'm doing a quick review on the WE Arsenal knife. This is a knife that I've been interested in quite a while, but I just have never pulled the trigger on it. I saw a buddy of mine at work and he showed me this, so I said, hey, is it okay if I take this and do a quick first impressions on it and then a review? And he said that was fine. So very excited about this knife. There's a few things that I have issue with. I'll go over those in just a little while, but first we will give you some measurements. This guy is 8.5 inches overall. I believe that's including the glass breaker, but I could be wrong. Excuse me. God damn it. Sorry. So we are looking at a 20 CV blade here with a flat grind all the way down. Sometimes you get a compound grind, you get a hollow grind here and then a flat grind here, but this is just the flat ground. Sorry guys, bear with me. The pig's in here with me, and if it gets a little bit noisy, I apologize, but if it goes too bad, I'll just stop the video and start it again. But the knife has a flat that carries out to about 80% the length of the blade. A couple of opening holes, or a couple of holes milled into the blade here, which you cannot use to reverse flick or thumb flick this blade. That's fine, not a big deal. It's an aesthetic choice. There's nothing wrong with that. You do have a swedge that starts at about 40% the length of the blade and carries out to about 90% the length of the blade. And a little bit of jimping here. There's jimping right here just for your thumb when you're holding it in the standard position. And there's a little more jimping here if you need to move your thumb up to get a little bit more tip control or anything like that. As you can see, this is an Ostap Hell design, or Ostap Hell design. I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but he's been making designs in the knife community for quite some time. WE Knives does have a partnership with him. A lot of their knives are from Ostap Hell, and they're all very nice knives. I like his designs a lot. Excuse me. This guy does have a titanium frame lock, as you can see. The WE symbol here is just, that's the captive end of the pivot. And then there's a T8 screw here to take the knife apart. There's also T8 screws on the rest of the body. You can use those to take off this G10 integral back area of the knife. I don't necessarily want to call this a backspacer, but this is kind of like the Ziphius, where you have a carbon fiber wraparound on the back of the blade. This one's just made out of G10. You also have a couple of pivot collars here, also milled out of G10. That's very, very nice. Nice little touch there. This pocket clip, however, I feel like it's gross. That's just my opinion. If you like it, that's great. It is a titanium pocket clip, and it's reversible. You've got this little glass breaker here, which I think is really, really nice. Just very low profile, subdued glass breaker, nothing gaudy or ostentatious or anything like that. I don't, you guys know that I'm not a huge fan of Microtech glass breakers, except for the one on the, well, shit, which one is it? The SOCOM Elite has a very small glass breaker on the back of it. As you can see, the show side scale is milled down just a little bit to give you better access to the lock bar, and there is a little bit of milling here on the lock bar itself. We do have a steel lock bar insert, and it looks like we're locking up at about, I'm going to say 35 to 40%, which is fantastic. This guy has pretty good action. As you can see, when you disengage the lock bar, it falls straight down. I feel like the lock bar could be loosened up a little bit, because when you release the pressure, it kind of locks the blade in place. You have to do some shaking to get it to go all the way down. Now this knife is running on bearings, which is why it falls so readily when you move the lock bar, but when you release the lock bar, it puts pressure on the blade again, and you have to shake it shut a little bit. Not a deal breaker, not a huge deal. It's just not quite as smooth as I'd like it to be, especially running on bearings. Let me see if I didn't look to see if this was milled out at all. It doesn't look like the inside of this knife is milled out at all, which that's fine. Doesn't need to save a whole hell of a lot of weight. Let me get a weight on this guy for you. This is a very light This is a very light knife to start off with. And that's because of the G10 integral backspacer, or whatever you want to call that. So 3.9 ounces. Anything sub 4 ounces for me is obviously a very, very light knife. Back to the glass breaker, or sorry, back to the pocket clip again. The glass breaker, or sorry, the pocket clip, why do I keep saying glass breaker? God, you're stupid. The pocket clip on this guy leaves a little bit to be desired, in my opinion. It is a stamped titanium pocket clip, but the way they stamped it, it looks like a stainless steel pocket clip, which I don't mean to be a knife elitist or anything like that, but for this knife, it's all titanium and G10. It's got great action, and with the price that they were asking for this originally, I feel like they could have done a little bit more of a milled titanium pocket clip or something like that. But as this is reversible, it does make for a nice knife, being able to be used by lefties and everything like that. There is no lock stick on this guy. It opens up and folds back down into the handle with no problem whatsoever. Disengagement and deployment is almost effortless. The slipper tab is fantastic. It's got a little bit of jimping on the top here. As you can see, this guy is perfectly centered. And there is no blade play left, right, up, or down. When I noticed that the blade was a little bit tight when I was closing it, I did loosen up the pivot a little bit to see if that might help. Which it did not. As soon as I loosened it up a little bit, it had started to have some blade play and everything. So I tightened it back up to where it was, made sure it was nice and tight, and no blade play whatsoever, but it still has the same action it had when I got it. This G10 integral piece here, when they designed this, I guess they designed this after the slide on the H&K VP9, I believe it is. So this is kind of made to look like the slide, excuse me, of a pistol, and they've also done some milling down at the bottom to match up with that, which is a really nice touch, in my opinion. They've also done some milling on the top of the G10 scale here, just to make some portholes. I don't think it has any functional value, but it definitely aesthetically looks nice. What else is there to talk about on this guy? I don't think there's a whole lot else I can say at this point. I like the American Tanto on this guy. I like the way it feels in the hand for sure. It's very comfortable. And you can, like I said, you can choke up your thumb a little bit to give you a little bit more control. You can't actually, there's no forward finger choil on this, so you can't choke up your fingers at all. But with your thumb, you can move a little forward on that blade. It makes it a little easier to control. Nice sharpening on this guy. I'm guessing this is the factory edge. I don't know how often he uses it, but as I said, I did borrow this from a guy from work, so it's going to have some use marks on it and stuff like that. But I think it's a beautiful knife. I think it's a great value as far as the cost. I'm sorry. I'm going the wrong way with this. I think it's a good value as far as the materials and everything are concerned. You're getting a good product. But as far as, I probably shouldn't say I think it's a good value. When this first came out, it was around $300, which that's way too much for this knife, in my opinion. It's 20 CV, titanium, and G10. You can get a lot of knives out there that are the same materials, maybe not quite the same value, or maybe not quite the same quality, but approaching it, getting close. So I feel like $300 is way too much for this knife. When it first came out, I think it was in 2021 or 2022. That's what they had it priced at. But now, you can still get this knife. They do still have it on Knife Center. It's sold out pretty much everywhere else. But you can pick up this exact same knife in this configuration for $210, which I'd like to see it closer to $150 to $180. But that's just my opinion as far as the materials, the quality of production, the fit and finish. Everything's pretty good. I wouldn't say great, but for $200, it seems a little bit high to me. You can also get this in different variations. You can get this with a silver scales and a silver blade. I believe that one is closer to $300. Let me look here. Yeah, this one's that one is $250. This one in particular is $210. And then there are some ones with two-tone blades that are $260 and $277. In my opinion, this one is the best looking one. I don't like the two-tone blade ones, and that's just because they're so much more expensive, and I can't figure out why. You're coating it with the same thing. When you buy this, if you were to buy this exact same variation of this knife, it's going to come in black washed finish on the titanium and on the blade. In order to do that, you have to coat the blade and then tumble it. So I don't understand why this one is $40 cheaper than all the other ones. It just doesn't make sense to me. I can understand why the ones with the two-tone blades are, because there's more work involved with that. But I don't feel like it's $50 or $60 more work. In my opinion, this is a decent knife at $150 to $180. I would definitely buy this at that price. But I think that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first impressions. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. But if you are interested in this knife, I will have the link for Knife Center where you can go and buy this if you'd like to. But that's it for today, guys. Stay up, weirdos. Take it easy.